I have so many prompts saved, thousands of them.
But as time moves forward with new updates, new prompts, and new features, you may start to experience a problem.
Prompt fog.
Or not being able to remember or find that amazing prompt you used 6 or 7 months ago. So wouldn't it be nice to finally have one nice, immaculate, and organized location to find any prompt that you need? Well, you're in luck, because today I'm going to show you exactly how to do this. Now, when it comes to organizing your prompts and prompts databases, I've tried literally every single app out there. And after tons of paid subscriptions and many hours spent trying each one, there is one clear-cut winner. And that's the one I'm sharing today. Airtable. And not only will I show you why this is the case, but I'll also show you exactly how to build your own. Now, there is a lot to cover in Airtable and in this video because there are so many incredible things that you could do. So what I'll actually do is break down this video into a multiple part series. That way, if this is something you find helpful, I'll make more, and if you don't like it, I won't. It's that simple. Think of Airtable as a Google Sheets or an Excel spreadsheet, but 10 times better. And so here we are, and this is Airtable's homepage. The Airtable homepage is actually called your workspace, and you can have as many workspaces and bases within those workspaces as you want. And now, once I'm in this large workspace, these individual little selections right here, these are actually called bases. Now, once clicked, it takes you directly in here. So currently I have this mega database right here. I have a unique keywords database, one for AI influencers, prompt generators, Leonardo AI, and a few others, plus some other new ones I'm working on right now.
For the most amazing prompts databases, click the links in the description.
Now, once one database starts getting way too big, like this one right here, my mega prompts database, I'll start creating separate databases for specific use cases. For an example, now this large database, the mega prompts one, it's going to have multiple tabs up at the very top, each representing a totally different category. Right now, I'm on AI images. I can go to free pick, AI influencers. So what I started to do is, instead of making this database have 20, 30, 40, 50,000 prompts in the future, but if I exit over here, what I started to doing to make it much easier was now I started separating specific databases into their own. That way it's going to be easier for me and anybody else across the board. So for an example, this database right here is a brand new one, and this only contains prompts for amazing AI influencer images. But you can see I'm going over the different views, and within each database, there's going to be different tabs up here at the very top. Now, this database has nothing but unique keywords, and the same goes for prompt generators. It has its own standalone database like this one right here. So we can see that as our AI worlds really do start to expand, we'll definitely want a centralized place to store all of our favorited prompts. So let's go ahead and go back to my mega database. Now, if you look at all of them, they're all going to be built very, very similar. Okay, up at the top, we're going to have all of our most important tabs, views, etc. Okay, so I follow the same protocol unless there is something very specific. Okay, so back to my mega prompts database. Let me give you a breakdown on first the overview on how to specifically use this one, because what I recommend doing is following the same sort of protocol that I've had over here, whether you have my databases or you don't. Moving forward, you'll definitely want to know how to use this. Now, right at the top, this is going to be all of our tabs. Okay, I'm scrolling back and forth. Now you could see why this is a mega database. There are so many tabs. In, let's say for an example, Microsoft Excel, you'll find the tabs down at the bottom. In Airtable, they're up here at the top. Now, tabs can be used as separate categories, and within each tab, you can create your own views. So right now I am in AI images. If I click the next tab, now I am in free pick, which also are AI images, but only images and prompts that I used in free pick, because free pick has so many amazing different options. It was going to be better to give it its own tab. Now going over to the right, I have a category for AI influencers. The mega database also has a few prompt generators, AI video prompts, and now we get to other non-visual prompts. So right here, we're going to have SEO prompts. Within each tab, there are so many options you can do depending on what view that you're in. So for an example, right now I am on the grid view. I can select this arrow and ascend and descend all these categories, or I can go ahead and collapse them all. If I want to see prompts specifically for keyword research, just select the arrow, and just like that, they all expand, okay? Now on the left-hand side, this is what is called views. Now I'm scrolling up and down, you can see there are a ton of views right here. So for an example, if I click on this one that says date added, this is gonna have every single prompt. over 1,033 prompts just in this view alone. Now again, on the left-hand side, if I now select a gallery, I am now in a different view to where now I go from looking at things as a grid to now a gallery view, which is perfect if you're a visual person like me. Now, these both have the same number of prompts, but all I did was change up the view. Now, the number one reason why views are going to be so helpful is because this is where you can quickly access specific prompts or images for the specific tab that you're in. So for an example, in my gallery view, it just shows everything. Above that, if I click favorite, now it's filtered to where it's only going to show the images I gave as my favorite. And now you could see at the very top, it says filtered by heart. If I click it, where heart is checked, okay? Let me show you another example. Again, on the left-hand side, if I click on Midjourney Gallery, this is what's called a gallery view. Remember, these are grid views. I'm back to my gallery view. And in order to see only Midjourney prompts, up here at the top, it says filtered by. I said filter where attachments are not empty, meaning show me a prompt where there is an attached image like this. If this area is blank, it's not going to show up, okay? And also where the category is any of Midjourney. So as I begin to scroll, you can notice that it's only showing me images and prompts that are only made in Midjourney specifically. Now, same thing, left-hand side, I selected cinematic photorealistic. Now it's showing me everything. You can see I have Midjourney, Leonardo AI, and other AI tools like FreePic, but now it's filtered by where subcategories contain any of these and where tags has any of these, like photorealistic, cinematic, etc. So now that way, this is only going to show me images that are considered cinematic. Same thing left-hand side, animated video game. This filter only shows me images and prompts that are animated Pixar style or video game style prompts. Again, these all have the same amount of prompts, but now a view allows me for quick filtering. So if I need a prompt very quickly, okay, I'm in date added. If I scroll all the way down to the bottom, I can see the most recent prompts, and that could be timestamped where it says date 3/1/2025. At the very top, I have it built in a descending sort, okay? And you can see right here, sorted by field, sorted by date, earliest to latest, okay? So let's say, for an example, I'm in my date added version. This just basically has every prompt. And I say to myself, I need to see very quickly prompts that are going to contain like architecture, homes, or scenery. On the left-hand side, I already have a pre-built out view called scenery and architect. Go ahead and now select that. And now it shows me this gallery view of only prompts that are going to be more scenic or of modern homes and buildings, etc. Same thing for logos. Now I'm only displaying logos. So that is the difference between a view and a tab. Now again, if I'm back up here in the tab, and let's say I go to prompt generators, again, different views, okay? I have them grouped, I have them in gallery view, or I can go to AI video, date added. Now, back over in AI images, if I select this Kanban view, now I have this broken down to where it's very much organized based on the actual app. So here are all my Leonardo AI ones. Here are all my Midjourney ones. 607 images in Midjourney. We're going to also take this from step one and actually build yours for you. So you can see in the timestamps below, feel free to fast forward if you already feel comfortable utilizing Airtable based off what I'm showing you so far. However, once you really start to get used to Airtable and really get your hands dirty, we could take things up a notch. Now, over here on the far right-hand side at the top, you are going to have a search bar. Now, I can enter in any sort of a search term. So for an example, if I wanted to say search for this geisha right here, if I just start typing in the word geisha, just like this, it automatically will populate any prompt. You can see 1 of 3. Here's this first one, okay? Hit the arrow, it's going to take me to any prompt that's going to have that specific keyword. However, again, in part 2 of my video, I also want to show you the next future step. Above this, there's a tool called extensions. Click to expand that. Now I have in here what's called a smart search. Now if I type in anything like, let's say beautiful woman, Okay, not only is it going to show specific search terms for only the view I'm in, it's going to pull every single prompt in the whole entire database. So now as I begin to scroll, you could see just that. So it's first showing me all the keywords in my AI images one, but now look, now if I collapse it, now it's going to show me every single category with a collapsed view that contain that keyword, beautiful woman. Now, if you do have any of my prompts databases, you're going to have a few options. You don't need to sign up for Airtable because they have a pretty good free plan. But if you want to just use the read-only file and have lifetime access to this database, all you have to do is just click the post-purchase link that you received in your email. And then that way you can always view all the prompts and databases via the link at any time. And when you have your own, you can also do that by selecting Share View, okay? Once I select Share View, I can come in here and generate a link to copy. And then that way it's going to generate a link that you can have available as well on the internet, and you can even have it be private. Now, when you are on the Airtable free plan, you are only allotted 1,000 rows total. As soon as your database exceeds 1,000 rows, you're going to get a warning, and it's not going to allow you to add more prompts. So what I would highly recommend is that even if you have my own database, since my mega prompts database right now is going to have well over 1,000 rows, it's probably going to have closer to 7,000. So instead of having one large mega database with all these multiple tabs, what I would recommend is doing this. I would have one database for AI images, one database for free pick, one database for AI influencers. So if you get my database, instead of having this big one right here, is that what I would do is there is a little arrow over here by gallery. Go into any of the views that you like. I would recommend, let's say, date added, because this is a grid view. You could also transform this into a gallery view very quickly. Just by down here at the very bottom, there is what's called create. Expand this, and as soon as you select create, just hit this plus button and you could generate new views right off the bat. Here, there we go. Gallery view, it's going to be gallery 15. As soon as I selected that, it would create a view that looks just like this. It's that simple. But however, if you wanted to export this, in date added, hit this little drop down arrow right down here below, download CSV. What it's going to do is export all these prompts into a CSV file. Now, the only problem with that is that it won't bring in the images, okay? But you can do that in one method. The other thing you can do is if you're on the free plan, and I don't blame you for not wanting to pay, I want to make sure that you don't get that error. What I would do is come back over here into your homepage, create a brand new base. In the bottom left-hand corner, select Create. You're going to open up a brand new database. So instead of having one large mega database, you're going to have many small ones just like this. And so what you'll notice is that if you do duplicate my database, you'll notice up here at the very top, you can select what's called Copy Base. As soon as you select Copy Base, it's going to bring my whole entire database, the whole thing, every single tab, everything. 10,000 prompts, and then it's going to put it directly to within your own. So as soon as I selected copy database, it's going to ask you what database do you want it to be in, okay? Here's an example right here of one of my clients. I did the same thing with her. As soon as I did that, it now immediately puts it into your own personal account right away. And now here we are. Now, even if you're on the free plan, of course, you only get 1,000 rows. This far exceeds it. So what I would recommend doing is now I would just come in here and I would select a database you want to duplicate. I would select either duplicate base to go ahead and make a complete backup. Then once that's opened, okay, here's my copy. I would come in here and simply select each tab and delete each table, okay? That way I won't get that exceeding 1,000 rows. So instead of your database looking like this, to where it's going to be one large one with multiple tabs, each tab is going to be its own separate base. So for an example, this would be AI images. The one to the right of it would be SEO. The one to the right of that would be prompt generators. And that way, just make sure you only have enough rows for 1,000. And that's what I started doing in the future with like this AI influencer one, for an example. Now, right now, this AI influencer database has 230 records in here. This next one, prompt generators, this is going to have over 20. And then this one is going to have a few hundred as well. So all combined, you need to make sure each base doesn't exceed 1,000 rows. And instead of having one large mega database, just contain many small ones based on each category because you can have as many bases in one workspace as you want. Okay, now let's go ahead and start our very own database, just completely from scratch. Now remember, this is going to be more basic. Future videos, if you like this one, I'll go ahead and make one more detailed to really take things to a whole new level for you. So what we're going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and create a brand new one. But what I'm going to do is go ahead and start from scratch, okay? As soon as you do, it just gives you all this default option right here. Now, on the right-hand side, you could see some other options that's pretty helpful. But the moment that we land in here, the first thing you want to do is just customize it any way you want, okay? If I exit out of here, you could see my brand new database is right here, untitled. Click to open it back up. Now, to rename it, up in the top left-hand corner, let's just open up this menu, and now just go ahead and give it a name, okay? I'll just name this one Practice, and again, if I want to adjust the color, I'll select Appearance and completely change up the color on this one, okay? That way, it's going to look a little bit nicer. Now, from here, this is going to be the default view that we're going to get. Now, since we are starting from scratch, I'll quickly go over some of the most important features. Now, in this very first column, okay, I have what's called Type. It's a formula, okay? It's a formula I built to basically combine the most important details of all of my most important columns. But we won't focus on that right now. Let me just quickly show you what my final product looks like, and then I'll show you how to exactly duplicate this. So in my mega one, we're gonna have category. You could see here is my main category. Since I'm in specifically AI images, my categories will contain like Midjourney, Leonardo AI, etc. That way, anytime I enter in a full prompt, I could select what tool it was made in, okay? Which brings me to the right-hand side, the full prompt. Now, some prompts are gonna be pretty long. Now, that is where you will then have to expand it. That way you can see it all right here, okay? Next to that, we're gonna have the images. All you have to do, you can simply just click and drag images in here. So for an example, if I create an image in Midjourney or FreePic, I download it, it's in my downloads folder, I can just simply click and drag any new downloaded image and now put it in here, go back to Midjourney, copy the prompt, and now paste it. The next couple of columns are gonna be like my subcategories. So for an example, my main category is gonna be the tool I'm using. But now my subcategory, what sort of image? Right now, I have this one right here, okay? What kind of image is this? Well, it's editorial, and it's also a person. Let's say I also considered it photorealistic. I can hit the plus button and then also tag it as photorealistic. Now, the reason why this is going to be so important is because, again, remember, tagging entries the right way will allow you to quickly make views to quickly find these prompts right away. So if I click on cinematic photorealistic, I will be able to quickly find that prompt. And now here she is because it was properly tagged because I built a filtering system that says, show me all prompts that are tagged as photorealistic in either the subcategory or my tab, okay? Then to the right of that, I have a checkbox of this heart. That way I can quickly mark my favorite images. So again, in the future, on the left-hand side, I could select the favorite view and only see images that I favorited. Anything I shared on X, I can go ahead and click it. To the right of that, I have one that's called Luna. So if I have my own AI influencer like this, here's Luna, Ava, Elle, and now Sophia.
For the most amazing prompts databases, click the links in the description.
Anytime I generate images of one of my AI influencers, I select this. That way I can quickly see those AI influencers. And then I have my ID. It's going to be so important to assign a specific ID to each prompt. Now you can see each ID is listed here because as you can see, right now I am on 1062. The more and more prompts you get in the future, you want to assign IDs. That way you can quickly find something right away. Now, if I go back to date added, if I select 7 hidden fields, you could see I have a lot of different fields. So depending on what view you're in, you could choose to hide specific ones. So if I go ahead and turn this off, look, my attachments are going to disappear. Look at this. Now that's not going to show because I said don't show it. Now unhidden, now there they are again. So let's go back to our practice one and do a few different things very quickly. So right now I get these default columns. Let's go ahead and delete them all and completely start from scratch. So right now all we're left with is what's called name. Now to add a brand new column, simply select this plus button. So what I first recommend is only work in grid view. Then when you have your grid view finalized, then you can come in here and start creating all your other new views, okay? Let's go ahead and hit the plus button. We now want our second column to be what the full prompt is. So as I select plus, you can see here are all of our selections. Single line text, long text, all these cool options. Single select, multi-select, etc. Okay? Now these other ones down here below, like roll up and lookup, I'll do that in the future video, but that's where you can look up records of other tabs. So for now, for the full prompt, you definitely want to select long text, okay? And also enable rich text formatting. That's going to allow you to use like bullet points, etc. Now, what do you want to name it? Just name it prompt. Okay, there we have it. Now prompt is in there. Now remember, I went ahead and copied all these. So let's go ahead and select the first cell and now paste them in. It's gonna know that each cell you copied is a separate row. So say yes. Now there it is. Here are 5. But it doesn't look the same, right? That's because we need to make it either a little bit wider, or let's make our column width a little bit taller. You can do that by selecting this button that's called row height. I can select tall, extra tall, and even short. So that way it allows me to see a larger portion of the prompt, okay? Now the next thing is, if you're doing ones for AI images, we need an attachment field. Let's do that. Hit this plus button, select attachment, and now give this a title. We're gonna call this images. And now there we have it, create field. So let's just say, for an example, I have an image in my downloads folder. All you have to do is just simply click and drag it. Okay, I'm dragging it, and now just drop it right there in image. It's automatically gonna populate. This was an image I just generated recently, and now there it is. Because now once you have your images in here, now you can start to create that gallery view. I'll also come in here and copy all of these images from this mega one. Click in the cell, paste it, and now there we have it. It pasted all of the right images just like that. Now, the next thing we want to do is, remember, we're going to keep this basic in the very beginning, but you'll get the gist of it. Let's go ahead and assign an ID. Hit the plus button, name it ID, but now in the field type, I'm going to search for one that's called auto number. Just by typing in auto, we're going to go ahead and select that and create a field. What this basically does is just provide an auto numbered ID. Now, if I hit the plus button to add a new row, it went ahead and gave it number 7. The next thing we want to do is go ahead and now create one that's called category. For category, I recommend using single select. Now for single select, we can have color-coded options or not. I'll do color-coded. So since we're in AI images, let's add a few important categories. For one, we use Midjourney. We also use Leonardo AI, and we also use free pick. Now, I have my 3 categories. If you are on the paid plan, you can have more options with choosing specific colors. If you're not, you only get the top row. That's fine with me, but you could simply change the color up by clicking on each one and then just picking the corresponding color. And now there we have that. Now in my category, let's say I want to move it to the left, just click it and drag it. Okay, now let's just go ahead and say this was made in Midjourney, this was in Leonardo, this was in free pick, etc. And I could even take each one, copy it and paste it and click and drag just like in Excel, just to give a different variety. Now let's add our tags, hit that plus button, and now create one that's called tags. When you're in tags, you definitely want to use what's called multiple select. And again, color-coded options or non, I'll do non. And now in tags, multiple select, you can have as many that you want. And this is going to be so important for organizing your prompts in the future. So let's go ahead and add a few different options, okay? Just looking at these images, I can tell they're all going to be mainly animated. I can also add one that's called cinematic, just any category that you personally want to use in the future in generating prompts. So let's just go ahead and add a few different ones, just like this. And we'll just stick with this one for now. So now that we have a few different prompts in here, now we can really start to organize this. Let's go over here and add one more for favorite. I'm going to add a new column. I'm going to call it favorite. And now this time I'm going to select checkbox. Now I don't want to use an actual checkbox. I want to use a heart. Now, if you're on the free plan, the only option you have is a checkbox, which is fine because who cares? We just want to have a quick way to create a filter. So let's just do that. Make believe we're on a free plan, create a field. Now, I can bring my columns by dragging them, making shorter or longer. And now we're going to select a few favorites just like this, okay? There we have that. Now we have a preliminary database that's been built. But all you have to do now is just basically give it a brief name of what each of these images are. Let's just say video game screenshot, just to make it easy. You can be as basic as possible because you can depend on tags. Because now in the future, this is where our views are going to be so important. So speaking of views, we have our grid view. Let's go ahead and make a gallery view. On the left-hand side, down at the bottom, select Create and hit the plus button of what view you want to create. I want to make a gallery view. Right now, I'll just name it Gallery and then go ahead and select Create New View. Now, you can customize it. So in this large snapshot, let's just say I want to see or I don't want to see specific elements in this large snapshot. If I go to Customize Cards, you can see right now it's only showing tags, category, and a prompt. Let's say I want to also show ID. Turn it on, and now look, ID is displayed. 1, 2, 3. But you can also click on each individual cell to see the full and complete details. I can also download my specific image by selecting download down here in the bottom right. Let's go ahead and hit this plus button, and we're going to add one that's called date added. Now, what I recommend doing is not selecting date, because if I select the date, you have to manually enter in the date each time. What I would recommend doing is coming down here and select created time, okay? You can use created time or last modified time. The created time is a timestamp is anytime you add a new prompt or a row. The last modified time is any time that there is a change to anything. Do created time. Now, I recommend turning off include time, but if you want to actually have the time, you can do that as well, to where it's going to say like 12:46 p.m., but I just want to have the date. Now select create field. Now look at this. We added all these today, so now it's going to give me the specific date, because now moving forward on the left-hand side, okay, let's say we want to add another view. Create over here on the left. Let's enter in one more grid view. Now we're going to title this one date added. Date added. Create a new view. Now, here are all of our views. Now, this time, what we're going to do is up here at the top. Remember, we can also filter, but now we're going to actually sort it. We're going to sort by date added. Remember, it's going to show any column we've created. And then I select earliest to latest, or you can go latest to earliest. But now, anytime you want to see your oldest prompts or your newest prompts, you can quickly scroll to the top or bottom, and now they're going to be organized by date. Remember, if I want to have one specific to only cinematic photorealistic ones, okay, like this large one over here, what you do is in your gallery view, let's go ahead and create another gallery view. Bottom left, hit that plus button. Now let's say you want to create one specifically for scenery, okay? Just like this, I'm gonna just say scenery, create a new view. Now, sometimes it's gonna look like this and you're like, where did my images go? Again, customize cards, choose image field. It's going to be my images field. Now there are my images, and then you could also select what specific things you want shown up right here in your quick snapshot. Now again, there's no difference between gallery and scenery right now. Since we only want to have scenery prompts show up, what we need to do is click filter up here at the top and add a condition. Add condition where not name, okay? We need to be able to see our tags. So our tags for scenery are scenery. So we're going to say, okay, where tags has any of, select this to open it, has any of scenery. And now there we have it. Now, since only one image right now has the scenery tag, now it only shows this. So let's make believe we're done with this and you want to go ahead and share it. I can select share view. You can create a link to it. You can embed this view on the website or somewhere else. I actually embed a lot of my views in Notion as well. So you could see right here, here's my Notion, and I actually have some of my prompt databases embedded in Notion themselves. If I select create link to view, there it is. I can copy it, and now I can select if I want to make it private, etc., and what sort of things are going to be showed. Again, if I want to import any of my prompts to like Google Sheets, over here on the left-hand side, what you're going to do is you have to do it for each view you're in. If I go to scenery view, and I actually say, and I click this arrow and I download to CSV, it's only going to download this one prompt because you have to do it based on the view. So pick your view that you want to export. Grid view is going to contain everything, okay? Hit this drop down arrow and now just say download CSV. It's that simple. So that is just the very basics on how to build and use this. In the future, I can come up here and select extensions. I can open up integrations if I select integrations right here and connect my Google Sheets. And so I can have it to where anytime I add a new prompt in Airtable, it automatically gets added into my Google Sheets. Now, if you do have my database and you duplicate it into your own, you obviously won't get the real-time prompts because it's now in your account. It's no problem because all you basically have to do is open up the live link that you get in your email and you can just come in here and just copy any single prompt that you want and you can copy and paste back and forth into your own database. It's that simple. And so just like that, you can see right away, Airtable is such a big and powerful database with so many options. Thanks for your support. You're now going to have access to the best prompts you'll ever find, now and in the future as I add more and more prompts to it. Now, regardless of what database you have, every single database is going to be utilized the same exact way. So if I show you in one database today, it's going to be the same across the board for any database that you may have. Now, I've tried every app out there, Notion, Google Docs, Google Sheets, etc. And Airtable is by far the best and most superior way to organize all of your prompts. Now to start, you can use this database with or without an Airtable account. The last thing I want you to have to think is that you have to purchase another app subscription. I highly recommend Airtable, but you can do one of three things. Number one, you can just simply access the database with the URL and just copy and paste prompts out of it whenever you like. You could find your database in your purchase and confirmation receipt. Simply visit the page, just click on the Airtable database button. Once you do, it's going to open up your database, and like I said before, these databases, they all have the real-time updates. Simply copy and paste any prompt you want to use anytime you want to use it. Now that's going to be the easiest way because you'll get the real-time updates, all the new prompts will always be there, and you can access it anytime. Now the second way would be to sign up for a free Airtable account. But once you have the database opened, you can see up here in the top left-hand corner, there is a button, and you could simply copy and duplicate my exact base and now put it in yours and use it as your own. But for any new prompt I add, you're not going to get the new real-time prompts being added. That's because this is your new database now in your personal account. But that's not a problem because, again, if you have my link, you can always just copy and paste any new prompt into your new database. And I made this easier than ever because in every single database, I have a column called date added. You could see that in each column, it has the date I actually added the prompt. As long as you have my link, you could use my database in the cloud anytime. There are multiple ways you can use this database and get the information that you need. The most important thing is as long as you have the link saved, you'll never need prompts again.